Graham Potter is officially left Chelsea Football Club. Let's go. It's done. It's been done. Let's do it. Cheers. Anyone else drinking apple juice? Welcome to the Casually Chelsea show. It's crazy. When a manager gets sacked, Casually FC seems to be streaming on the day Casually FC show. We did it for Tuchel. Now we're here. 2 sackings, one season. It's finally done. Oh my days. Okay. Let's start off with reading the club's official statement, and then there's tweets coming in right now. There's a bunch of them, so we'll catch up and get caught up to everything that's going on with the sacking, all the details. But to start things off, here we got the official club statement. Chelsea FC has announced that Graham Potter has departed the club. Graham has agreed to collaborate with the club to facilitate a smooth transition. In his time with the club, Graham has taken us to the quarterfinals of Champions League, where we will face Real Madrid. Chelsea would like to thank Graham for all his efforts and contributions and wish him well for his future. And then here, hold on, let me just zoom in so you guys can see. Bruno Saltor will take charge of the team as interim head coach. Co-controlling owners Todd Bowley and Baghdad Bali said, on behalf of everyone at the club, we want to thank Graham sincerely for his contributions to Chelsea. We have the highest degree of respect for Graham as a coach and as a person. He has always conducted himself with professionalism, integrity, and we're all disappointed in this outcome. Along with our incredible fans, we will be getting behind Bruno and the team as we focus on the rest of the season. We have 10 Premier League games remaining and a Champions League quarterfinal ahead. We will put every effort and commitments into every one of these games so that we can end the season on a high. Well, well, that's a lot on Bruno Saltor's shoulders, but hey, we'll try to end on the season on a high. It's kind of a little sad that they had to add this part here. In his time with the club, he has taken us to a quarterfinal. It's a little pathetic, but I mean, I guess it's something for him.
We limped there. Yeah,
you know what I love about this? They in the first line, they try and make it sound like he was meant to be the transition, like it was meant to be just a quick, like, oh, let's help him through the ownership change.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm thinking? Since Potter sacked now, we got so many possibilities to, like, maybe somehow against Real Madrid, Marshall, and screwing over Arsenal season now.
What did I say? What did I say, guys? You know, this is all planned. I knew it was.
It's only a possibility if we actually get a new man.
It's still only a
possibility. Bro, I'll give you your flowers. Fair enough, man.
No, but we have a chance to screw up Arsenal season now. If we actually get a new manager, have a new bounce, we can actually screw up Arsenal season too.
I'm not worried about any other team's seasons but our own, Chris. What are we talking about?
Our season's fucked, man. Like, so I'm looking at other people.
You're absurd, Chris. You're absurd, Chris. This is Chris. No, you're on your own on this one. You're worried about fucking Arsenal. We got to worry about us.
No, I already said Champions League. We get to have that as well. More hope into the that game.
Pump the brakes. All right.
Yeah.
Nah.
We don't even know who the next manager is.
Let's get the next manager in, and we fix the damage in terms of the coaching, and we get to the end of the season, and we just get to that. Don't focus on the Champions League or stuff like that. It's just a bonus.
Should I focus on Bayern Munich instead of manager?
What happens if they say Bruno is in charge for the rest of the season?
Okay, then I also did say if we get a new manager like Nagalsmann, like who I think we might get. So I think if we get a manager, then we have a chance. But if we don't, then yeah, it's gonna be business as usual probably.
Right. Okay.
Thank you for bringing me down, though. Thank you.
Well, we got to think logically. We haven't got an actual manager.
I was happy.
Yeah, you can still be happy because he's gone. It's just the fact that we still got his staff essentially there.
Yeah,
and we haven't got the new manager.
The disease still lingers.
So yeah, we need to.
Disease still lingers.
That's true. That's true. We need to. We get Nagalsmann in before the end or someone else, then fine. Then we can talk about it. I think we will because I just don't see us going to the Bernabeu with this Bruno guy in charge. I just can't see it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense.
I'm fairly sure, unlike Graham Potter, he's at least been there before.
That may be true, but you wouldn't want to.
He was as a player.
I mean, We beat Prime Barcelona with Robbie Di Matteo. As I know the playing squad was better, but
Yes, I was about to say the only issue is you had about 10 leaders in that team and in that squad.
Yeah,
you could take him through. You don't have that.
Stranger things have happened. This is football.
That is true. Stranger things have happened.
On the sacking as well, we have more news here from David Ornstein to read out. Let me zoom on. All right, this show was prepared so last minute because of this. Potter will receive a regular severance unrelated to the remaining duration of 5-year contract signing of joining Chelsea from Brighton in September 2022. Most of his staff to remain at CFC until exhaustive process to recruit new head coach is complete. Coming from David Ornstein at The Athletic. Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, based on what news I had yesterday and today, earlier today, basically it was Vivell and Win Stanley, right, that were leading the charge to get someone else gone.
Stanley and Stewart. It was Win Stanley and Lauren, the two sporting directors. So reportedly, based on the report that I read, they were leading the charge, or that it was their decision, and they were backed by Egbali and Bowley.
Which is the right thing to do. Yeah.
They were backed by Egbali and Bowley. Did I just hear correctly?
Yeah.
And what this shows to me, I said this a little bit on the stream, is it shows me positive things about this ownership group. They might have got everything to do with the signing. Like, I don't think they got necessarily the signing of Graham Potter right to begin with, but everything that's happened since his signing has been poor. I think getting him when they did was poor because the infrastructure wasn't around, the players weren't here, etc. But it shows that they've admitted to their mistake and at least they've rectified it. Sooner later happens rather than it doesn't happen. But what was I say? With that as well, it also shows that they're trusting and listening to the guys they've signed, which is good. They haven't just signed these guys for the sake of it. They're actually listening to their decisions. They're listening to their input, stuff like that, which is good to see.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, this is the thing. These Bowley and Egbali, they're new to football managing or football ownership. They're new to the world of football. And so they don't know the culture and how clubs have these standards of, when results aren't going well, managers do get sacked. There's not really many long-term projects. And those long-term projects, from what we've seen, seem to have been earned through reputation, through a good CV. And Potter just didn't have it. I understand where they were coming from. I understand where the decision comes from. I understand why they tried to go with Potter. He seemed like a promising prospect prior to the Chelsea job, to be the guy to take Chelsea to a decent level. He took Brighton, that was from Championship, all the way to a pretty relatively competitive mid-table team. Now you're seeing what De Zerbi is doing with the jump he got from Potter, right? Finishing off or continuing on with what Potter has built and making his own thing now. And you see how competitive they've been.
Yeah.
So there was a promise there, but I think the Chelsea job was just too big for Potter. I think it just was too big for him. I think it got to a point where just the stress and just the amount of pressure on him just got him to a point where he just didn't know what the fuck he was doing. I think I said this, I don't know if I said this yesterday, but I was saying this off stream at least. Yesterday was the first game where I literally looked, because for the most part, you could see okay, I kind of see why you're bringing on Gallagher. You're doing there was some logic to some of the decisions he had made previously. You could really, really stretch it out. You could really, really grasp at straws. I was grasping at thin air yesterday with some of the decisions that was made, the lineup selection. I just didn't understand what the hell. And for me, it just strikes me as, even our players too, the way they're performing sometimes, the amount of times I saw Ben Chilwell diving for a foul in the penalty box, it just screams desperateness. It screams uninspiring. It screams what the fuck are we doing? What do we do? And like I said yesterday's stream, the only players that really knew what the hell they were doing, or when it comes to their position, was really Kovacic and Enzo. Everyone else was clueless, and not to their fault. It's just the manager didn't know what the fuck they were doing, or that he was doing. So yeah, it just struck me yesterday was finally the nail in the coffin. Like, this guy really is so clueless and desperate, and it really does seem like he's throwing paint at the wall and seeing what sticks. Harry, what's going on, man? I'm sure you're feeling on top of the world right now with this sacking finally. Cheers. Harry's drinking prune juice, and I'm drinking apple juice.
You still have the potty. Potty.
Hot clock.
Yeah, start again, Chris. Yeah.
Potty cup.
Potter clock!
One last time.
Oh, you'd love to see it. It's here to stay. It's absolutely not going anywhere, but it will never hold the same sort of the same sort of purpose that it has done in Potter's tenure. But Jesus fucking Christ! Oh. Someone commented on one of my videos saying, "It's not Christmas, but it certainly fucking feels like it's Christmas. Like, it's that level of jubilation, that level of relief, that level of I'm just so grateful that they've finally seen the light. Do you know what I mean? Like, they took way too long to pull the trigger. Mm-hmm. I've seen so many people saying that it's sickening that people are taking such joy out of someone losing a job, and I thought, I'm sure he'll cry himself to sleep with wiping his tears with his £50 notes. It's not an issue for him. It's not an issue. And if you can't come here and tell me that the guy hasn't looked as though he's tried his hardest to get sacked in the first place. It's
true.
That's what it's felt like for there's no way that we are this bad. There's no way he's been this bad. I mean, there is every chance that he has been, but like, come on, look at what we saw before he joined the club in the first place. Like, I know he was, manager of Brighton and not necessarily like an elite level manager. He's certainly lost all credibility now from what he's done here, but I don't know. I still don't quite believe that he's as bad as he has been. This geezer.
It's hard to believe. I feel so vexed
for him.
Yeah, but Harry.
He looks like Tim Howard. I'm not gonna lie.
Harry, by the way, king of the thumbnails. I love absolutely every single one of your thumbnails. They're fucking hilarious, dude.
I nearly burst a blood vessel every time.
You have an expressive face, and it's just fucking awesome.
He says he nearly burst a blood vessel.
That's so funny. So, Harry, I just got to ask you this, man. I mean, the accountability thing and just his overall attitude is what really got me. Because after the game, I went and I watched Jose Mourinho's documentary, and I just remembered, I was like, oh, yeah, that's what a real man looks like. That's how a real leader acts. And with Potter, it was just so flaccid. It was so uninspiring, and it makes me harken back to, what does he say to this team in the dressing room? What does he do to get them up for these games?
Give it your all.
I cannot imagine it is very inspiring. And it's really
said this. I said this months ago that, and by no means the first, and I'm definitely not the only person to say this, but I said, imagine going in even 1-0 down against Villa in this situation, or any team that we've gone in at half time, like a goal or however many goals down. You go in with Mourinho, Conte, even Tuchel, and a whole list of other managers that have managed the club over the years, and you are terrified, probably as a player going in, that you are going to get an absolute bollocking from whoever is in charge. Graham Potter is quite possibly the least threatening and intimidating man that I've ever seen in terms of... I'd be more scared of Roy Hodgson, to be honest with you, because that guy's seen things. But like with Graham Potter, I said the word to describe him is limp. Like he's not... He's, like you said, flaccid, but he's limp. Like he's so soft. And he's almost become like a soundboard in the terms of like... Do you know the meme of like, he said the thing of like, fucking, like every single time, without fail, that they gave it everything thing. And it just does my fucking tits in. It really did. To the point where it is just a case of what kind of bullshit was he going to come out with after the Villa game, where I don't... there's believing in the source. He has no source whatsoever. The guy is sourceless. Like there is absolutely nothing about him. I think when he first came, everyone thought like this is a new Potter because he looked like the suave kind of guy. He's got new beard, new haircut, turtleneck sweater. Looks like a goon now when you think about it, because it's like it's all the gear and no idea. He's just come in here and people are expecting him to do wonders, and chance after chance after chance, he just proved everyone right that had their sort of worries about him in the first place. Yeah, and then the people that have backed him from day one they backtrack over and over again. I've been very much in the level sort of playing field. The Potter clock thing is merely a sort of piss take where you can sort of use it in times of joy, but even then when he's been mostly how he's been, it's almost seen as like it's tongue in cheek, it's a joke. Yeah. And it just encapsulates how much of a circus we are at the moment. We always have been, but literally the whole time he's been there, it's been effort. It's been such an effort to even get excited to watch Chelsea play, which I've never in 27 years of my life had that, where realistically, I know we've had like lows in the past, but like this season has absolutely stank. Like it reeks.
Harry, can I said it on the stream last night. This is the first time that we went 2-0 down. Every time Villa went forward, I actively cheered them on to score to get him out. To get him out. Do you know what I mean? Each goal I was hoping it'd be more to get him out, because this is how much this guy, and for me, I've been supporting Chelsea well before Roman Abramovich came. For anyone starts, this is the worst Chelsea manager ever. He's worse than AVB and Lampard. Yeah. That's what he's achieved at this club. Imagine that. Imagine saying you would have a manager worse than... whatever you think about Lampard, okay. Imagine saying worse than AVB at this club. Can you imagine saying that?
It does take some doing, doesn't it? It's the worst. It's the worst record since '96, I think, with Glenn Hoddle.
Jesus. I got to say this one thing, Harry. Like, you have to look at this from a personality perspective, okay? And then you have to look at London and Chelsea and what this club means, and the fans of this club are aggressive. They are aggressive. London is an aggressive city, and these fans, their personality is you better fucking win. Yeah. And with Potter, I just feel like we can never hire someone who is personality that is driven by subtlety, right? I mean, there's nothing subtle about London. There's nothing subtle about Chelsea. That Chelsea is a very high stakes club, and you need to have a manager whose personality reflects the tempo and the temperature of the city. And it just with Potter, it's all subtlety. It's all I'm progressive and I'm too progressive to get upset about things. It's like dog. That's why you're not the manager anymore, because you thought that you were above showing more emotion. Well, guess what? This city, this club, it thrives on emotion. And you have to have that type of attitude, and he simply didn't have it. He does not have the capacity to get angry. And it really bothers me that he doesn't, because everybody else is pissed.
It just goes back to the we'll get a draw. We'll do the Champions League draw, play Everton, which the wordplay of that ended up biting them on the arse in the first place, and then we'll win the fucking Champions League, which is just. I thought that was cringe.
That's a meme now.
I thought that was cringe in the first place, because I thought that he's been told to say that as like a joke or like to hype up the fans and be like, "Go on, Potter, go on," and it's too far gone to be like he's a fucking clown. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's a lovely bloke. He seems like a nice bloke. He seems like an uncle, do you know what I mean? Like he's like but he's that nerdy uncle that you're like at the party you kind of think.
If you remember
I feel like he doesn't know much about football, but he talks like he kind of projects like he does, so I'll kind of humor him as if he knows about football, but he doesn't know a fucking thing.
If you remember,
he's the kind of uncle.
But if you remember the Southampton game, he came into the press conference and said, "Oh, guys, I've been in an emergency meeting." And then he lost the Southampton game the day after.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you can't understand, bro. You can't afford to be joking, bro, in a situation.
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
what I
like
mean?
crisis
You know-
meeting, and then
Yeah.
I've still got my job. Not anymore, you don't. You fucking dozy twat. You're gone.
He
You're
strikes me
gone.
as that uncle who will shoot a gun for the first time, and his initial reaction is just, "Ooh, he felt naughty."
Bro, he would be. He's a guidance counselor. You know what I mean? Gives off that vibe. You know what I mean?
You
Everyone's
got
best
Alex
friend.
saying he's a PE teacher, which
Yeah, everyone's got a
Yeah,
Oh,
PE
my
teacher is
days.
the most. It's the like it is. It is just
True.
exactly what he is.
Just the one collecting a paycheck at the end of each week. No joy in his job. Do you know what
I mean, that's what he's done here. That's what he's done here.
Yeah.
I
That's a
still
lot of
think that
money.
there's a little bit of like he knew he was at his depth and he's been trying his hardest to like the fuck off. Like the lineup the other day, it's laughable. It's really truly laughable. You've got Reece James as right centre back when you have Chalobah, who is an out and out right centre back in his own right. Like that is in the back three. That's where he would go. I don't know what he thought, what he doesn't like about Chalobah. You've got Badiashile on the bench.
Yeah.
I would have personally preferred Loftus-Cheek to play right centre-back over James, and then at least then you've got James on the right. Then you've got Kante playing on the right wing for God knows how long in the game when he came on. What it seemed like anyway. He was always down the right-hand side. You got Conor Gallagher coming on for Kovacic. You've got Pulisic coming on for Kukureya. What the fuck is going on? It doesn't make any sense. It just screams like he's tried his hardest to get sacked because he thought I've got 60 mils coming, like it's coming, and apparently it's not.
It's
Apparently
not.
it's
By the
not.
way,
No,
Carlito, before you go, just hold on your thought real quick. Before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, 62 of you and only 17 likes. It's like you're
Shameful.
miserable that Potter's
Shame.
gone. Come on. You want to celebrate that Potter's been sacked? Smash that like button. We got Harry in the panel. We got Winter Surfer, Carlito. We got the whole crew here. We got more people that are going to come. Come on and smash the goddamn like button. It's absolutely free.
Marshall, hang on, Marshall. I can only think. You guys in the chat must love Potter, man. Not to.
Yes.
No,
You
Andrew,
must
Andrew,
love Potter. If you
Andrew,
do not
they-
smash that like button, it's because you wanted Potter to stay.
No, Andrew. They want Brendan Rodgers to replace him.
Guys, if you don't, guys, if
I
that's
just
not
bristled,
discussion,
Oliver. I just bristled.
I can go one further. You guys just might want Lampard back.
Yeah, you want
Oh
Lampard back.
my God.
So Harry,
All right,
I have this question.
Let's
for
calm
you.
down. All right.
I gotta go after this, but I gotta ask you this question because as soon as Matt Ball and I were doing our podcast for Worldwide Chels when this news broke, like I was like, I think he's gonna get sacked today, and then we ended the podcast, and 2 minutes later, after I said that, we ended the podcast. He got sacked. It was unbelievable. But I gotta ask you because as soon as this happened, my initial thought was, oh shit, does this mean Mason Mount is back in the team? And
Yeah, I actually thought about that too.
Probably not for me. I don't think the club want to.
No.
I think the club want to move him on. Like we've already seen that, but like I don't think it's really always down to Potter. Like I think like the whole situation where he's not signing the contract, the club just say just don't like let him play or start or whatever since he's not signing. We've seen it before as well. Like other players don't get to play, so we still get what we want. Mason Mount to Liverpool for 60 million, maybe Joe Felix for that.
70.
That'd be great, but I think 60.
I can't be the only person, by the way, and I'm not being a hater or anything, but him clapping at the fans on his own is lame. It's so lame.
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
thing. Get off it. Like,
It's like you smarter.
the whole thing. There's a tweet going around saying he knows what he's doing, and then loads of people defending him. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, he's patronizing the fans.
I'm not sure. I don't know how to word it exactly, but I don't think it's patronizing the fans necessarily. It is.
Placating,
It
maybe-
is like, don't believe what you're hearing. I'm here to stay, kind of thing. But in reality,
Harry.
he will be. He's gonna fuck off. He's gonna leave.
I saw someone tweet about it, and they used the right word. It's demonstrative, like it's
Sure,
putting on
yeah.
a performance.
Oh,
It
demonstrative.
is.
almost like
Someone
putting on
said
a
it's like he's a dancing seal, or like a clapping seal, or something like that. He's playing to the crowd. That's all he's doing, and he's got your minerals. He's got all that sort of like being like, hey, he clapped. We might have lost against Aston Villa and gone down into the second half of the table, but at least he clapped us. It's pathetic. It is absolutely fucking pathetic. Nothing against Mount for, I mean, well, for doing it, yes, there is everything. I can't quite work out what I mean by, like, I just don't, like, get off your high horse kind of thing. Like, I just don't buy into what everyone is saying the reason is that as to why he does it. I don't think it is
Maybe they wanted to talk. People want to talk about him.
Oh,
He's
Harry,
the-
you know what I think it is? I think it's a smokescreen. Like the worse
It's
he
performances.
plays,
That's all it
the
is.
worse he plays, the more he placates those fans. The worse his performances, the harder he claps because he wants them to focus on him saying thank you for coming instead of his actual performance.
Yeah. And then you have to factor in as well, like
It's disingenuous.
now that
as
we've,
hell.
I mean, what? This is the first. Is this the first game we've lost since he's been dropped? Because didn't we go on that? But haven't we gone on this run of like two, 3 wins and a draw?
Everton felt
I
like
think
it
so,
was.
yeah. Something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. But even still, like now, people immediately forget that, and it's like, you know, oh, he's clapping. He hasn't been able to showcase like whether or not he can help bring the club back into the game or whatever. So like,
we all know this.
there's so many. This geezer especially, not God of Frogs, but the geezer he's got in his picture.
The wrongin.
Speaking like with the guy on the screen right now with Nagalsmann, it is.
Yes.
I personally am against it.
Okay.
Purely and simply for the fact that why on earth are we for the principal fact of why are we hiring the guy that got sacked and replaced by the guy that we sacked for Potter? Like the as good as the script would be for if we get there, should we get there for a Bayern Munich versus Chelsea semi-final with both managers against their former club would be tasty. But I just don't. I just don't buy into it. I'm not really a fan of the whole thing of, like I said, of like we're hiring the guy that was sacked for the guy that we sacked. It makes no sense to me. Like it's very sort of negative.
Sackception.
It is. It is. It's
I
just
think,
so.
But that's
It's so backwards. It's so backwards. I'm not for
That
one
might just-
second discrediting Nagelsmann as a manager and his quality, but for the principal purpose of like the backstory to it. It of all people that we go for, it's this guy.
That might be
just
crazy
think
enough to be a juicy enough headline for them to actually do it, though.
I think, but you could say the same as like if you're a Bayern Munich fan, why are we hiring
No, Tuchel makes massive sense. That makes
No,
massive
but
sense
I'm
to
just
them because
saying-
he's
I'm
one of the
just saying
best
that there
managers
would
in the world.
You could say that some of it, you know. I'm just listen. I agree. Listen, I think now that Potter's gone, I have reservations about Nagelsmann for sure. I have reservations.
I think we have reservations about all
Very,
of
he's
them.
very young.
He's very young. Very
Yeah.
He's
young.
young. The issue
He's
is that we were
8
having
years older than me, for Christ's sake. Jesus.
The issue that we were having before today's news was that we would have taken anyone apart from
Yeah.
Potter at
Isn't
the
that
time.
true?
Do you know what I mean? Now it's like, okay, let's see what the candidates. Who are the real candidates? Realistic candidates? Because I think we need to get someone in now. I can't wait till the end of the season.
By the way, boys, right here, Fabrizio reported an hour ago. Understand there have been approaches for Julian Nagalsmann to be the new Chelsea head coach. Talks will continue to make final decision, but he's the favorite. No confirmation on Pochettino links at this stage. Nagalsmann mentioned in internal talks yesterday, probably brought up by Vivell, who's been a happy candidate for pushing him to be the next manager. Obviously, because they worked together before.
I was gonna say with Nagalsmann, Andrew. I just hope if we do sign Nagalsmann, I hope we give him like a 2-year contract.
Yeah,
and, like stuff like be smart like that. We see Roman do that for a good reason because if he's not good that year, it's easier to get rid of like a guy who's got a year left. That's what we should do with Nagalsmann, and he could be promising. So that's what we don't know.
I
yet,
agree. I don't think it needs to be a long-term contract, or it doesn't need a very highly paid contract. That's part of it. You know what I mean? Like that. It doesn't need to be 12 million a year for Nagelsmann or something like that. It could be lower, and definitely you're right. I think maybe they'll go a 2+1. The one.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Something like that. That's what I would do. But I just think we need to. My problem is that you've still got Potter's coaching staff there.
Yeah,
They were part of the problem. They were part of the problem as well.
I agree.
It's like we listen. We chopped the head. You know, we sort of like we're gardening. We've got rid of the Chinese root. You know what I mean? That goes under the ground and you have to get out. We got the big part of it out, but there's still something there. The base of the root is still there, and that's what this coaching staff is. So we need to get that out as well, because they're Potter's the head of this, but they're to blame as well as why we're like this. So we need to get them out as quickly as possible.
Oh, Christ's sake.
With Potter's to blame, like, is this obviously decision making and it's like, but he's the main thing for like that. Like in-game management and all that. Like, I'm glad I'm not going to see that again.
They're,
like,
they're the ones. They're the ones that they're with him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They take blame as well. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna hide that away. There isn't like as well, like, this is why I take a Nagalsmann. There isn't really too many managers out there. You could say Poch. I wouldn't mind a Poch because we had Potter. I would take a lot of managers right now over like, but there isn't like world class managers now. So I would take a Nagalsmann for like 2 years or whatever it is, because that's like something I could definitely back. I can definitely back it.
Do you think if we proposed an offer to Diego Simeone that he'd accept? Because if what was said earlier, I can't remember who said it, but Potter lacked the cojones, he lacked the personality, the Chelsea fire in him. Simeone, I wanted Simeone before Potter came in. I thought he was the one for us in terms of his personality. What's wrong with Simeone?
Keep Simeone as far away from this club as possible. I don't want that football.
Why? With Simeone, I think
that football is unsustainable. Number one, that football is just not enjoyable to watch. Like, I don't care. I don't want that football to watch that football in my club. He's a great manager and everything. I hate that style of football so much.
Yeah, like
also, I mean, not to mention
that
Harry.
style of football before.
Imagine
I
just want to win.
We just got Joe Felix.
Yeah,
I was going to say, we've also got a bunch of guys. We've also got a bunch of guys that don't fit a Simeone system. We've got Mudryk, who doesn't press and doesn't defend. He'd hate that.
Yeah.
We've got Felix, who does the same. He'd hate that. We've got Madueke. I don't know if I think he does the same thing. He'd hate that.
Too.
Like, Havertz, no joke. The only attacker that he'd probably actually get on with is Havertz, because Havertz actually
He
presses
does
from the
press,
front.
I guess. Yeah.
Don't guess. Yeah, he does. Okay. Come.
He's always, he's sometimes a ghost, man. He's sometimes a ghost. So
Yeah, well,
take
that's
what
not
it is.
entirely his fault, unfortunately. Well,
you know how to take back though. I know it's unrealistic, but Sarvi, I would take him back.
yeah, I could see that. I mean, on the topic of a new manager as well, like, surely now.
Don't call me Shirley.
Most definitely now, we will probably see the return of Aubameyang to the lineup and Zakaria. Probably. These players have been.
It will free a lot of people to actually be able to play for once.
Mason Mount being another one too, by the way, guys. You can't leave that one out of the
I'm more than happy for like the guys that have been isolated, for lack of a better term, to stay isolated, because I think that's the one thing in terms of some of the players that he isolated is actually a good thing. Like Zakaria, like, when you actually deep it, if the plan in the summer is to get 2 midfielders in and the people that have been mentioned, they're better than Zakaria. So what's the point of keeping in here past this season? Like, and this season's a write-off anyway, so who cares? Aubameyang's the same thing. He's not going to be here past the summer, so who cares if he plays? Who else? Mount, I don't want here past the summer, so who cares if he plays? Like, I'm fine with the guys that have been isolated and left out to be left out. You just need to include a couple more players in there, like Ziyech and Gallagher, and then play other players a bit more, like Mudryk and Madueke. Apart from that, and then Gallagher. Apart from that, I'm more than happy with like Zakaria, Aubameyang. I'm happy these guys never touching the pitch again for Chelsea. Genuinely happy.
What's wrong with Zakaria?
Yeah,
it's more because the only reason I would say I'm fine with Zakaria is because I don't think the club is going to sign him past the summer. I don't think they're going to activate that release clause because it looks as though they're targeting other guys. But he's not done anything
wrong, though.
No, that's fair enough. But I'm in the mindset of, if they're not going to be here past the summer, what's the point of playing them? Because this season's a write-off anyway. Prepare for next season, which if you're going to do that, prepare for the guys that are actually going to be here with the guys that are actually going to be here.
But we've also said that about Hakim Ziyech, and we've been wanting him to go.
Yeah, no, but that's what I said.
Season and a half,
include him in that.
Yeah, he's still playing.
He can join them. Let him go back to Amsterdam or wherever he wants to go. Like, he can join them. I'm saying that group can grow. It's not just like a group of two. It can grow.
Yeah.
It's just I'm more of like, this, as I said, the season's basically a write-off for me anyway. In terms of unless we get Europa League football, I don't think we get Champions League. We can get Europa League, whatever. I don't think we win the Champions League. As I said, it's basically a write-off. Plan for who is going to be here next season. Zakaria probably isn't. Aubameyang almost certainly isn't. Mount probably isn't, depending on the contract. Like, if they're not going to be here next season, keep them out. I'd rather play youth players because at least then they could I'd rather play the likes of Vale. I know he's back, or I don't know, Rankin for another example. I'd rather play these guys.
Yeah. So with Mount, do you think that is strictly a Potter decision, or do you not think that? Because I can't help but think that's behind the scenes.
I think that's joint. I think it's a case of I also think he isn't improving us and we've got better players, but I think it's also a joint decision of kind of what I said. If he's not going to sign a contract, then what's the point? Also, Trevor, I still like Zakaria, but the fact that we're not going to look to sign him past this season and the guys we're looking at for the summer are better than he is, what's the point of signing him in the summer? Ergo, what's the point of playing him now? He's still a good player, but if you're planning for next season, he doesn't fit in those plans, evidently, based on what we've read and seen. So,
I mean, I do think that there is a purpose for Zakaria in terms of rotating and resting Kante and Kovacic so they don't get constantly injured. And I wouldn't even throw Enzo into that mix because Enzo's played every single game since he's come to this club. And I don't know how long or how sustainable that could be. So I think he's a good enough midfielder to throw into the mix when you need someone to, go in there rather than bringing on Gallagher to be in a pivot with Enzo like yesterday. Why not bring a Zakaria to do that if you want to put another midfielder in there, Especially if we're trying to chase a game. We saw Zakaria can progress the ball up the field. Can Gallagher really do that? Not really. All he does is
nowhere near as well.
All he does is
him
press.
do it sometimes by accident, where he runs.
Yeah, by accident. There you go.
Where he runs quickly the ball and somehow keeps the ball and dribbles past two players. I don't know how he does it.
I do see where Scott's coming from too. I don't get me wrong. I don't think there's a place for him in this club next season. So there really isn't really a point to trying to convince him into start or trying to get him into a starting position in this club or anything like that. At most right now, he's just a power sub, a good substitute to make. But I think there's still use for him this season. And hopefully whatever manager comes in, whether it stays with this gentleman that we had here that I don't remember his name, I'll sure learn it within the next few days. Or if we get Nagalsmann or whatever. No. I'm the guy who's currently taking over.
Oh, Bruno.
Bruno. Just call him Bruno.
Bruno. Okay, Bruno. There we go.
Yeah, the thing with this Zakaria thing as well, I will say that I care less about him playing than Aubameyang. Aubameyang just straight should not come back into this team again. There's no purpose for him in this team.
You need a striker though, I feel.
Why? For what?
We need goals wherever we can get it.
Then coach the guys that are on the pitch to be more clinical in front of goal. I'm sorry, what's so we're going to score goals. We might win a couple of games, right, in the league. What does that mean for this season?
Scott, don't you think the last three managers have been trying to coach these players to score, and it just hasn't worked out?
Aubameyang, I straight don't understand. He's not going to be here next season. So what's the point? Fully, what's the point? Because in the front three as well, if he plays, that means one of Felix has to drop out or Mudryk has to drop out. Even Havertz has the place in the team. He's been poor. But there are certain things he does that make sense as to how we're playing. Aubameyang just doesn't fit. And if he's not going to be here come next season, what's the point? Just to get a couple more goals and we win a couple more games. So instead of finishing 11th, we finish 8th. I just personally don't understand the point. I'd rather play the guys like Mudryk, Madueke, Felix, guys like that. I'd rather give those guys game time and let them develop more and bed more rather than just giving it a guy to who's 34 or whatever he is won't be here next season. I just don't personally see the point.
Oh my days, I can't believe this comment right now.
I'll behave.
My boss, come on, bro. Oh my days. By the way, people, smash those like buttons. 75 of you watching right now, smash the like buttons. Come celebrate with us that we finally got rid of this plague that is Graham Potter in this club. But yeah, so here we have Nagelsmann sees Chelsea as an option due to Vivell. The players are already there and the project. That's another thing that we talked about yesterday too. Is Nagelsmann would probably do well with these players rather than like what we were saying before about Simeone. I don't think these players suit a Simeone style of play. I don't think these players suit. I don't even know a Mourinho style of play. Not even sure if they would suit Zidane and his
I don't know what type
style.
of plays Zidane, like I don't know what type of football he plays. To be fair, like Zidane.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like he's another like unknown entity for me when it comes to his style of football. So I mean, would it? Go ahead.
I was going to say it's going to be like an Amorim or a Nagelsmann type of manager, like that type of football with that type of.
I
forward.
don't even see like as much as I want Enrique to be in the club. I don't even see if they fit Enrique's style of football. I mean, we got rid of Jorginho, who would have been the most ideal midfielder to have in like a possession style football. And I mean, wingers. I mean, Madueke could be, but he's not the guy yet. So, what kind of wingers would, Enrique want? Probably not the guys we have right now. He probably wants a whole finished product. So.
Yeah,
Probably going back out.
I agree. I don't think he. I might. There is a there's not negatives, but there's like signs on every manager linked to us. Like Enrique, for me, it's. I know it's still you can't do that, but if you take away Barcelona, right? I know he did well in his first season, but for me, he should have done more with that Barcelona team.
I think that's fair to say.
He should have done back. He should have done back-to-back Champions League with that Barcelona team. I'm sorry, he should have. He actually, for me, for the what people deem as the greatest front three to ever play, and that was a good team. For me, he underachieved at Barcelona, especially in Europe. His stints earlier at Celta Vigo and Roma were not impressive. His Spain team is not impressive. I mean, he's stuck with Sergio Busquets and put Rodri in the centre back position.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
He stuck with a front three of like a combination of Morata or Asensio
wasn't even Morata.
and Olmo and
Olmo.
His front three was more often than not Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, and Asensio.
Yeah, it was side to side. It was side to side passing because the way he was playing, it was like that. I mean, I think he would be literally a 2-year manager. He'd be like, to me, he's Conte but played better football, a little bit, right? That's what it does to me. You wouldn't go anywhere past 2 years with Enrique because I think he'd burn himself out.
We did that with
Yeah, go on.
He did that at Barca. He took some time off after Barca.
Well, that was due to his daughter, right? His daughter's.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's
yeah. But I just think maybe the intensity as well. I don't know. Zidane, like you say, I don't know what type of ball Zidane plays. I think he's literally a vibes manager and just do what you want. But remember, he only how many league titles was it? 1 or 2 league titles? Was it one? I bet it was 1 or 2, right? League title. We went back and won one, but
I think it was more than one.
I don't know. For me, I don't think Zidane wants to work in England. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he wants to work here, precisely, no matter how much he throws.
His family don't want to come here.
Yeah, I think he wants the France job and then he's going to call it quits. Or if he doesn't go back to Real Madrid, I think Real Madrid is the only club job he will go back for. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing. What could you do after winning 3 Champions Leagues? I mean, there's no. What do you want to achieve in club football? What do you want to achieve in club football after that? I mean, what?
I feel like with Chelsea, get them another competent striker is more rare than winning a Champions League.
If you want a competent striker, you need to hire Jose, man. He's the only one who can hire good strikers.
No,
we've only done, as Chelsea Football Club, we've only done 2 things twice in our history. We've gotten the Champions League twice, and we've only gotten two good strikers in our history. Drogba and Costa.
Really good strikers, like world class. We have other good strikers.
No, because otherwise it's like you're going to have to go in to someone who's already got a job and buy them out. And I don't think they want to do that after shelling out so much for Potter and his team. And then
that's another concern.
It's really that's why I said at the start. I don't really care when a manager there's only twice in this Chelsea I've cared when a manager's got sacked. But I really don't care. It's who you replace him with. That's the most important bit for me, is who you replace him with. And We replaced Tuchel, how you felt at the end, with Potter, and that was just not the right decision.
Andrew, is this
So-
the tweet you were referring to before? Chelsea players genuinely enjoyed the technical coaching. Many of the players had names for the manager based on his wizard namesake. Some players even had to search up who he was when he was named Chelsea manager.
Yeah. I honestly believe
That's
that.
embarrassing.
I honestly believe that. There's no way Enzo Fernandez knows who Graham Potter is. That story that he spoke to him, like in the thing, I think, maybe part of it is true, but when he called up, I was like, who the fuck is Graham Potter? They had to go, oh, he's the Chelsea manager. Oh, okay, fine. Like that, you know? You know what I mean? It's like, they could have told him, I could have rung him and said I was the Chelsea manager. It's the same sort of thing to someone like Enzo Fernandez. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and João Felix as well. There's no way João Felix knows who frigging Graham Potter is. Get stuffed. Do you know what I mean? It's just... he didn't come to Chelsea because of Graham Potter. Yeah? Do you know what I mean?
No, he has that pulling power. That's why we've got all these players.
Pulling us to 11th. That's what he has, man.
Well, like,
Frank Lampard made sense. Graham Potter doesn't.
It's his name.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's what he did as a player. But like Graham Potter, the biggest club he's ever managed before Brighton. Well, no, before Chelsea was Brighton. Like, there's no other clubs before that. I can't remember actually what clubs he actually managed before that.
Some Swedish, Swansea,
Ostersons.
Ostersons, yeah. Swansea and Ostersons, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why people don't know who he is. Like he actually got very lucky. Chelsea picked him. Like we sacked Tuchel.
Of course he did. It's like winning a lottery.
Yeah.
Football manager, you know what
He had to take the opportunity, but he completely blown it. It's a down walk.
Sure. Do you guys reckon that do you guys reckon we're better off waiting until the end of the season for a manager, or
Nope.
Because like I also think like I think this team is better off without Potter, and they can manage themselves.
The thing is, no. First of all, they're not because they haven't got any leaders like with Di Matteo. The squad is not built like that. They don't have the leaders to manage themselves.
Okay,
like
that's fair.
Second of all, Potter's gone. His staff is still there, which is part of the problem. We're in this mess as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Potter, he's just the head of the snake, essentially, right?
Is Potter's
Basically,
recruitment team going to stay? Actually, now that you bring that up,
I presume maybe the guy he brought in, but I presume like the recruitment team because they're now Chelsea guys. They're not Brighton. They're not Potter.
Okay,
guys.
They're not the Potter team.
Like Scott said, Paul Winstanley was from Brighton, and he was
okay.
Apparently. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, like where they all got to go to his house.
Yeah, well, I mean, now in a
so shitty.
Sorry to Potter. You had a great time at Brighton with each other. You guys are now at Chelsea. There's no way they're going to give up their jobs at Chelsea for Potter. Do you know what I mean? I'm just sorry. It's just not
that is a fair. I mean, it is a really good job. It's definitely a promotion from Brighton. They probably get paid more. They get better benefits. They got good amenities like a gym and like hot tub and sauna and stuff. Who knows?
Shut up, Marshall. Shut up.
Potter, I don't want to. I'm sorry. I'm not leaving this for you, man. You can go. It's like a Google firm. Oh my days. But like, I mean, I see where you're coming from. I think I just put too much respect on players like Enzo and Kovacic and Thiago Silva to, hold up some type of like tactic. Like, I don't expect them to beat Real Madrid without a manager easily, obviously not, but like get us a little bit of better results, some wins here and there, maybe like a draw, maybe don't lose to goddamn fucking Nottingham Forest when that comes up and the other teams. But
Alfie in the chat, I said this is just my opinion. I don't think Enzo Fernandez knew who Graham Potter was before he spoke to him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think João Felix knew who Graham Potter was before he spoke to him. Yeah, I just don't. I refuse. I refuse to. It's like Newcastle. There's no way Joel Linton knew who fucking Eddie Howe was before he joined. There's no way Isak knew who Eddie Howe was before he joined. Do you know what I mean? Don't give me this like. Now they do because they work for them, but please don't. In my opinion, I just don't believe that. For instance, I just don't. I just do not believe that.
Also, I believe the thing of like the first part of that report as well. Like they appreciated or they enjoyed the tactical coaching because, like, from everything we've seen, like in my opinion, it looked as though the players were together with the manager. Like it looks like they were actually like trusting of the manager and like they did like him. It's just there were there's other things as to like why I just don't think it worked. Like it looked as though they were still like they still liked him and liked working under him. It just wasn't clicking and wasn't like the performances were there sometimes, the results weren't. And then sooner or later the results just overtake the performances.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know he said to them after the game, you guys played well. I know he said that to them. I guarantee he said that to them. You guys played well. Oh, we'll get them next time. You know, stuff like, oh, you were really good. Stuff like that. I knew he did because it comes across with his personality. He's like that. There's no way he would throw them under the bus. Publicly, I wouldn't like that anyway. But he didn't even come out. He's never come out and gone, oh, do you know what? Actually, that performance wasn't good enough. You know, because he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that privately. He doesn't do that privately. That's why we're like this. Because the players don't get the accountability because the manager doesn't allow them to feel the accountability whatsoever. And that's the problem. I said this, your team, the way whatever in life, your team reflects you in how you manage them. In the results they get, whether it's business or whatever, or on the pitch. That team reflects him, his passive nature. Yeah. The reason, look at Mourinho's Chelsea teams. They were absolute bastards because they were physical first and then a skillful second, or a beautiful combination of both sometimes. But they reflected him on the pitch. That's why he's one of the best. He's the best Chelsea manager ever, and probably maybe the best manager ever. But they reflected him on the pitch. They were warriors. The reason Roy Keane was chosen by Sir Alex Ferguson because he represented him on the pitch. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. These guys represent Potter on the pitch, and it showed because they were very passive.
Yeah, by all means. I definitely think that these players did like Potter, but Potter's just didn't know what the fuck he was doing. I think he was out of his depth. I really do. And it's crazy.
Alfie, I believe the players in England who played in England know who Potter is. I do believe that. Okay, they know who Potter is. Probably most.
Yeah, in England.
This whole thing that I don't believe this story seems a bit too. We always get these stories that come out. The players don't recognize. I don't believe it to be true. I think most of them know who he was. He's the Chelsea manager. It's big news all around Europe. It happens, right? But there's fair to say some of the new players probably don't. Like, I don't think Mudryk knew who he was, for instance, stuff like that. Madueke probably did. He's an English lad, you know, stuff like that. Maybe Enzo Fernandez didn't. I don't believe João Felix would have. But you know, but the rest of them there knew who he was. They played him a few times at Brighton. They know who he was. So, you know.
Here's the thing, Don Potter. Like, to be fair, to be honest with you, I can't tell if this guy's trolling or genuinely like upset about the Potter thing. But here's the thing: I do not mind. I would not have mind giving Potter time if we were still in 5th, 4th, 3rd place, like what Tuchel had done over the past 2 seasons. We were competing in that general area. I was willing to give Tuchel time if he had started turning results around after the transfer window. He got the one transfer window and he got to play with the players that he supposedly obtained in that summer transfer window for one game, Dinamo Zagreb, and then he got the sack, which I thought was totally unfair. Results weren't going his way, but I felt that he could turn it around. I was willing to give him time. He got a draw against Spurs, which was an important draw. And mind you, and I think, Chris, I don't know if this is what you said, but I think you agree with me. We probably should have won that game, to be honest.
Yeah. We should have.
And I think he could have turned it around. And I think we would have still been competing. We wouldn't have dropped as low as we have. We would have been able to get more wins than what we have right now. We would still be in that 5th or 6th place, maybe. Who knows? With Tuchel. Nagelsmann,
we wouldn't be 11th with Tuchel.
Go ahead, Oliver.
It doesn't even have to be like 5th or 6th, though. Even if you were 8th or 9th, as long as you're seeing like a progression in the style of play,
some football, yeah.
You know, as long as you're seeing decisions that aren't complete nonsense and you're not making negative substitutions at the hour mark, that is why we want Potter out. Like chief among it, because you can take certain things from like that look like bad results, but okay, maybe the performance was good and the manager managed it well. Sometimes that happens, but we just haven't seen enough of that from Potter. But
again, this is where I emphasize Don Potter. especially after that last game. There was times in that game where just like, what exactly is happening? What is this sub? What is the point of this? What is the point of starting Reece when you have Chalobah and Badiashile, proper center backs in the team? A lot of things, even us as fans, just didn't make sense. At least under Tuchel, when he first came in, when he was starting Cho at right center, at right wing back, and he was putting Reece James and Aspie at right center back at times. Even I think he even put Chalobah at DM sometime at 1 or 2 games.
Only
There were
once.
times. Okay, there were just. I'm just saying that there was times where it's just like, okay, I don't understand what Tuchel's doing, but he would get the result, and we would still win,
And the
or
thing
get
is,
at
even
least a draw.
And even if it didn't work, before long he'd revert to what does work. He'd find a new solution.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like it didn't make sense, but then it got to a point where like we were getting the results. We are just like, okay, I'm not. And Andrew, I think you remember this too when we were streaming back then. We would say like, you know what? I'm not even going to question Tuchel's tactics or Tuchel's starting lineup anymore because we're getting the results. We're getting the results.
I think
There was a time we never got that with Potter.
No, the thing is that football fans are very easy to please, right? They're very easy to please.
Yeah.
And the new manager coming, whoever it is, has to show signs of progress, not regress, or whatever the real opposite of that is. This guy, every player got worse under this guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, every player, they showed little bits and start when he first started, but even then, now every player for me has got is either the same as we thought they were, or got a little bit backwards. Whoever comes in, remember, Tuchel showed something after 24 hours of training. This guy didn't show anything after 24 weeks of training. So the new person's coming in is going to have to really. It's unfair really to them, but there's a lot of damage that needs to be undone. And that's why I want the new manager in now, because the same coaching staff are still there with their damage that they've caused. So
Sure.
I need someone in right now. Sorry, I can't go to the Bernabeu with some guy called Bruno in charge of the other dugout.
True.
It was bad with Potter going there, but this guy Bruno, nah, man, he needs to go with the rest of them because they're at fourth list.
I can't disagree with this one, Don Potter.
Big up Scott.
Yeah, big up Scott. He had to go, but you know what? And this is a tweet PYS is reporting here. Apparently, TalkSport saying Todd Bowley believes Chelsea can win the Champions League, and the situation changed after he held talks with Potter today. Chelsea players are shocked. Listen, if I was Todd Bowley, I'd be of the same exact ilk. I think this team could win the Champions League. The talent is certainly there.
I know the
coaching wasn't.
conversation. I know the conversation. This is how I think the conversation went. You went, so Graham, we can still win the I think we can still win the Champions League. Do you agree? Oh, we can try. We'll try our best. That was it. That would have been his response. Oh, we'll try. That is passive, non-committal. Oh yeah, we'll give it a good go. We'll give it the old.
We'll give it a good go.
You're £12 million a year, bro. I need more than we'll give it a try. Do you know what I mean?
He has the video of Potter in that Chelsea meeting, in the Chelsea hangout. What was that? That was the thing called where he had his speech just during international break. Where they had all the.
It was after the draw. Remember, it was after the draw.
He saw the YouTube video of Potter going, "We're gonna win the fucking Champions League." It's like, you know what, Graham, do you still feel this way? He's like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. And
Well,
then,
we try.
The boys
try.
Gonna try to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the
Oh
boys will
my
give
goodness.
everything they can to win that Champions League. They give it all.
Yeah, the boys did their best by going 6-0 out on aggregate. Yeah, they did their best.
Bro, I honestly think like even after the Villa result, they were like, what are we really waiting for, man? Like this guy, he has more defeats than he has wins this season, and just as many draws, man. So they were like, okay, like Nagelsmann is available. We can get this over with now. The team can have like a 10 game preseason already with the new manager. They can get to know him, kind of know his ideas, or we can just keep a guy here who we kind of think that he's gonna get sacked. We kind of make him feel like with 10 games with him just trying to save his job, or we can finally act like like actual owners. And I'm
Instead
glad
of
they chose that
having arts
decision,
and
man. We're wasting time. We're wasting time, bro.
We can stop having arts and crafts on the fucking days off, man.
Bro, Marshall,
make
we were wasting time. Yeah, you joke about that, but like, why do the player get like days off when they lose? What kind of motivation that gives them, though?
So someone actually found the stat. I saw a tweet today. Actually,
Just some
you know,
motivation.
the time between match weeks. We've had a combined total of 85 days between match weeks, and that's like the most in the.
Yeah, we've had 4 pre-seasons in this season.
Exactly. We have 85 days that aren't match days. That's like the most out of any team that's in the European competition right now, and yet we're finding ways to give these guys days off. You know, we give these guys days. We give them 3 days off before Southampton. What do you know? Or was it Spurs? I can't remember. You know,
It was
look at the results.
Southampton, I think it was.
Either
It was
or. Look at the results.
Southampton,
They were both just terrible.
You know, that's one
don't
thing
know.
I never understood. That's why I can't understand why people back Potter like for a good while, even to the end. Like, this guy literally had no competition in FA Cup, no competition in Carabao Cup. Yeah, Champions League, but we know that it's kind of slow anyway with it. Like, it doesn't really play a lot, and we still couldn't really climb the table. If anything, we just kept going down. Like, it's just.
And when he rotated our best players in against Southampton, that was the other one. It's like, bro, if you're rotating when we need a win now, if you're rotating against Southampton, God help you when you're fighting on all 4 fronts for like a European Cup, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League. I mean, he's not anymore, but you know, hypothetically, God help him if that was the case.
There's never going to be the case. Go on.
And you know what it is too? Of all Chelsea managers in the history of Chelsea, this guy had the easiest run to perform with Chelsea than any manager before. Think about it. He had, like you guys just said, he had barely any competitions to compete in. He was out of the Carabao Cup, he was out of the FA Cup, just the Champions League, and just the Prem. He had incredible amounts of backing, more backing than any manager in the history of Chelsea. He had his whole team, and he had a whole like Winstanley and Vivell and a whole like hierarchy to work with to actually develop a squad in his vision, and he still couldn't do it.
Let me just say this right now. He did not have the biggest mess going on right now, okay? He had a mess, I agree. But remember, this was for me, it's the most secure Chelsea manager in the last 25 years at this club. He was backed. Remember, he didn't spend 600 million. He was backed, okay? His whole staff came with him, not like 1 or 2 like usually happens, and then you integrate with who's left there, blah, blah, blah. With an addition, like a couple of additions, like Anthony Barry and stuff like that. Yeah. But he came in, he got a 5-year contract. That's never happened in under Roman Abramovich's reign, a 5-year contract. Got 12 million a year just as a base salary, probably not including bonuses and stuff like that. He brought his recruitment guy with him, yeah. And he got told, we've all heard the rumors. He basically got told, but there's not real where we were at the time. You know, just do, you know, get as high as you can. Essentially, there's no way they were going. Oh yeah, 11th's fine in the end, right? I agree they wanted to back him as much as possible, but I think 2 things are telling. Remember last against Everton when Todd Bowley was approached, he was walking past someone and said, "How do you think about that, Todd?" He went, "Shit game."
Walking past
like
batter.
He said, "Shit game," yeah, not like no, stuff like that. Then the report yesterday about the players turning on him. This guy has been backed. Okay, this whole excuse, there's too many players. He only regularly plays João Felix and Enzo Fernandez as the 2 new players. He only regularly plays them. Badashili's in and out. That's the only other one. The rest of the players that he's played before there for the past 25 games and were there to begin with. He doesn't play Madueke. He plays Madueke and Mudryk every 4 or 5 games. They don't even come on sometimes. And he hasn't played for Fana. And who else? I don't know who else there was that we bought in in January. Huh?
He's on and off with Badiashile.
Yeah, yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's 2
Badiashile
players.
doesn't make any sense.
2 regular players that he plays that were bought in January: João Felix and Enzo Fernandez. Those are the only 2 that regularly play. The rest do that. What about injuries? We had Chalobah and Badiashile on the bench yesterday. Yeah, that he could have played. There's no excuse for that. He chooses not to play for Fana or Aubameyang. He chooses not to do that. Okay,
except for Fana to the under 21s.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He, stuff like that. So I just he chooses to play Ruben Loftus-Cheek at right wing back yesterday when you got Reece James there. at right centre.
Yeah.
So this is all down to him. Okay, he had the perfect opportunity to build his legacy there. He was given ample time. Remember, he arrived in September. He didn't arrive in December. He arrived in September. Okay, he had a good so start, 8 or 9 games, and then not like that. So, but we regressed. We regressed. Every member of that team regressed. He had little stints here and there at the start, but no, I'm sorry. It's just he's not good enough. It was too big a step. Leicester or Tottenham should have been the next step for him.
I was going to say, Andrew, another one was I don't know if you mentioned it. It was when he played ZS like 2 days after the PSG collapse.
Yeah,
that made no sense.
He brings Pulisic back off the 2-month layoff and starts him. Why? Why are we doing this? He continuously plays Kai Havertz for 90 minutes. That's not good enough for Havertz. He's going to break down and get injured. You know what I mean? And no matter what you think of him, you know, he brings Gallagher on for what? To try and change games. Are you mad?
Do you reckon he secretly hates Chelsea, man? He just wanted like a good payout.
No, I still think he would.
He looked like he did, man.
No, I think he's a nice guy. And nice guys don't survive at Chelsea, bro. You need to be ruthless. You need to be powerful. You need to have that aura around you. I know you hate that word. I hate the fucking word too. But whenever you see him at the dugout, he just felt out of place. You know, he felt like a kid who got lost and somehow made it to the dugout of Chelsea, bro. You know what I mean? Like when I saw him again, and this is not me taking a dig at him, yeah? Like when I saw him against Aston Villa, right? He was sitting down with his hand like crossed between his legs. And you see like Emery just cheering the team on.
Guys, I'll speak to later.
And that was 2-0, Marshall. That was a 2-0. Take care, Andrew. And that was a 2-0, bro. Us losing. So for me, man, the guy just needed to go. Like Bali finally made a good decision. That Teletubby-shaped man finally made a good decision and freed us from this. Nah, man. It was untenable, man. It was a horrible mistake.
And I will say too, like, I'm not gonna get on Bully too much. I mean, they're new to the sport, and I was alluding to this earlier. They're new to the sport. They're gonna make mistakes. They made a mistake of trying to sign a manager for 5 years. That manager, which at first I think we all thought maybe had potential, turns out it wasn't the right guy. It was too big of a job for him. So, you know, then it turns out to not be the right manager, and then. Obviously, sacking Tuchel was another mistake, probably the biggest Chelsea mistake in history, because it ended up with what we have now, which is us in 11th place with a manager that we just spent so much money on to just get sacked now. And then, you know, doing all this, of course, before building the structure. So hopefully going forward, Bully, there's a lot less mistakes, a lot less costly mistakes this as well.
Marshall, I gotta be honest with you. Yeah? I disagree with you. Like sacking Tuchel wasn't a mistake. Replacing Tuchel with Potter, now that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That was my issue with them.
But you don't think sacking Tuchel at the time that he did?
No, but the way you said it,
the transfer window.
The way you said it is you connected them together. Like if we sack Tuchel and we got somebody like let's say Enrique or a Flick, we wouldn't be in the position we are here. The reason we are in the position we are here is because Chelsea needs a man management. It's not only Chelsea. Any big club needs a man manager. Why have City never looked at someone like what's his name?
Grandpa.
Like a Potter. Why does Real Madrid not look at someone like a Potter? Because these are not big club managers. They don't have the experience to manage big clubs. Going from Tuchel to Potter was too much of a step down. You know what I mean? Like it's not really like second. People have short-term memories because at the time Tuchel was having also a bad period. Obviously not as bad as this gentleman. You know, it'd be nice. 7 months, you know, and having 7 wins in 7 months, man. That's like a win a month in the Premier League, bro. So yeah, it's man.
But I mean,
hopefully they learn from it. No more 5-year contracts. You know, give them 2 years and add on them.
Yeah, that's the key thing for me. I think, you know, they just have to learn from this. You know, making a mistake isn't the problem, but you need to take lessons from it. You know, you can't just, you have to use you have the structure now, so use the structure. You have to take everything into account and just do your best with it. Don't be foolish, because if you start repeating mistakes, that's when people are really going to start turning on you, and it's going to be justified.
Have Chelsea ever sacked 2 managers in one season?
I don't think so. No.
No, but Chelsea never hired someone like a like a Potter after somebody like a Tuchel, bro.
I think this is really unique because they sacked Tuchel so early. Like I think the earliest other manager that would have been sacked in the season would probably have been like an October sacking, like a Di Matteo maybe. I think that's
Let me go back to my computer. I'll jump from there.
Yeah,
Okay,
cool.
sounds
So,
good, man.
you know, it's a pretty unique situation. It was done so quickly. It was literally days after the transfer window closed. So you can't really compare it to any other situation, in my opinion.
This right here is 100% why I'll back Julian Nagalsmann. Nagalsmann would prefer to join Chelsea over Spurs. There you go.
That's just common sense.
Why,
though, right?
why would he want
Yeah.
to join Spurs? Like they don't win trophies. They
Got
don't
his head
have
on
an-
his shoulders.
Guys,
Yeah,
you're getting Brendan Rodgers. Enjoy.
but like,
Lap it up. Come on.
Just,
I mean, if we can't get anyone,
What
Brendan
saying-
Rodgers might
Yeah.
have to be the
No, I'm
choice.
not taking. No.
What
That
saying-
is
It's better than Potter.
Yeah, but he's gone now, so we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to do that
Yeah,
comparison.
yeah,
anymore.
you're right. Yeah, he's gone. You can actually go for proper options. Chris, what were we gonna say?
I was gonna say, what sane manager is actually gonna choose like Tottenham over Chelsea? You have an owner who doesn't really back you. He signs a few players for you, of course, like any other club. They don't really spend higher than average, like mid-table club. Like, and Chelsea win Champions Leagues, they win trophies. They got the history of trophies. Tottenham, they have a Carabao Cup in 20 years. I don't know. Like, they
Yeah.
have something like that. You even had Conte slating them because Conte had enough of their shit. Like, their owners don't really back them. They just rely on Harry Kane and maybe Son and a few extra players, like, to basically, like, go around it. That's
They
all
can't
they
even-
rely on.
They can't even rely on Son anymore.
It amazes me that you got to Champions League final. That amazed me. That is going to be their biggest ever achievement probably for the next maybe 10 years, easily. I can't see any higher than that.
So I definitely is
So-
an achievement, man. I remember when they got the Carabao Cup with Jose, they were making merchandise for the Carabao Cup final, not for winning it, for just getting there. They had like scarves and stuff. It was like, oh my god, are you kidding me?
It's hilarious. That's hilarious.
And
Carabao
then
Cup finalists.
they sacked Jose like 5 days before the cup final. It's like, bro, this is the history of the Tottenham.
If they fumbled the bag, they win a trophy again.
They really did. They really did.
I was
Yeah,
going to say,
this is-
do you reckon Potter go to Tottenham? Reckon there's a chance?
I think Potter's gonna go to Leicester. I feel like Leicester makes the most
Leicester's
sense. to him.
more realistic, but it'd be quite funny if they go to
I
Tottenham.
think
They're not that good of
Potter,
a club.
I think Potter could go from Leicester to Spurs, but that would be in a few years. He can't stay in the top six. There's that he'll get eaten alive, and he needs to rebuild his image because he's been destroyed. Well, he's destroyed himself.
Bro, he's gonna
Yeah.
take some time off. I mean, I don't think he's gonna go like the last 10 games.
I mean, he
to
needs
a
to sort
relegation
out.
battle.
He needs to sort
Yeah.
out the bags under his eyes. Get some skin treatment.
Bro.
Get some. An old lady told me at one of my jobs, get some cold spoons under your eyes, and that'll get the bags out. So he's got to get some cold spoons.
Hey, you know who's happy? You know who's happy about the second? Aubameyang, bro.
Mason.
Oh, you see, Kai, you like the Instagram post? Him and
Bro,
Zakaria.
he should play. He
It
should
is
play against
Zakaria.
Liverpool. I would rather have him than Kai Havertz.
I was saying that it's a good
Especially
chance
now we
that
have the
start seeing.
point to prove, bro.
Yeah, now we have Graham Potter back, or I mean, Aubameyang is probably going to come back to the lineup. Maybe Zakaria. We'll see what happens with him. I don't see him staying at the club after the season, but at least he'll have some use because I don't want to keep overusing Enzo, Conte, Kovacic. You know, they're very injury-prone players.
Wait, do you want him
Or
to
at
stay?
least-
Do you want Zakaria to stay?
No, I don't think he's gonna.
Do you
I
want
don't
him?
want
I
him to
want
stay.
him to
He's been
stay?
more injured than anyone else, bro.
I think the only chance
Zakaria?
that we.
Yeah.
No,
I think-
Kai.
Has he been injured?
Oh, Kai dipped.
What happened to Kai?
He dipped.
He just,
think-
he just wanted to be right, and then he left.
I think the only chance that we have of keeping Zakaria is if we get the new manager in before the end of the season. The only way that this doesn't work, like say hypothetically, it's Nagelsmann. The only way we keep a guy like Zakaria is if a guy like Nagelsmann, say the hypothetical new manager, if they were targeting Zakaria for one of their old clubs. That's the only way it happens, because otherwise you're going straight into a preseason when the loan ends, so you can't train with him. You don't know what he's all about.
Yeah.
So we have to get the manager in first, like during the season in the remaining games.
Nah, Zakaria is not good money, man. He's too
I
injury
think
prone.
he's like 26 million pounds. I don't think that's bad at all.
Yeah, but still, for his injury record, I don't know, man. I haven't seen enough from him to see, like, other than a few flashes, that he's actually worth the money.
I'd personally,
Yeah, he's had a
I've,
couple good games. That's
I've said this at nauseum. I'd rather him than extend the contract of a 32-year-old broken Kante.
Hey, you look good.
I don't
that
know,
game,
man.
though.
For me,
you look
Kante
good.
is something else, man. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest.
Depends
I mean,
which country we
that
get. I keep saying this.
I mean, if we're comparing
Wait.
injury records, I'm definitely taking Zakaria.
Well, we don't with Kante, right? You know he's had we know he's had this injuries, but he's had a big surgery, right?
Bro,
So
did you guys see the
don't know.
reports that Enrique also is? There's starting to be reports of Nizar saying that Enrique also is
I would take an Enrique too.
over Julian. I don't know, man. I like Julian. I think his football is sexy as
Enrique
shit,
did
man.
do an interview. He did do an interview where he said he wants to manage in the Premier League. That came out recently.
Yeah, but
So,
some Spanish football at Chelsea, man, that would be nice as well. We never had that for a while, man.
I'm
Plus,
fine with
Alex
it.
would be annoyed, so that would be even nicer.
People complaining about side-to-side football. Who cares? If it works, then who cares about style?
A lot of
Honestly.
teams, even Man City, do side to side at times. Like
It's about the results. Man City win the Premier League Centurions with 100 points.
Ooh, look at Fabrizio said. Julian Nagalsmann has already called some of his people to ask them what they think about Chelsea.
Oh.
Well, that's god.
I wouldn't mind. Like I said, I want him to have like a 10 games extra preseason with the rest of the season, kind of get the boys together, kind of set his ideas with the players that we currently have. It would be a lot more useful than this idiots, what they thought, with keeping Potter for 10 games, or just trying to 3 at the back with the 2 wing backs and center backs, all the shit he was trying to do. I think we'll benefit from that a lot. So I'm glad they finally sacked him and they replaced him with the guy that they actually
Oh god.
have like a final plan with.
Yeah, the new manager needs as much time as they can possibly get, because I think people overrate the hell out of preseason. It's only like 2 weeks as it is. So, and if it's going to be anything like the preseason we had last year, then it's just a shambles. The amount of traveling we were doing. Although I think there were reports that said we were going to resolve that. But anyway, to my point, they just need more time. I mean, the one I think back to is Sarri. Sarri had a full preseason and an almost full preseason. I think Conte took 1 training session before he got sacked. But Sarri had near enough a whole preseason, and his style of play didn't really start shining until the Europa League final. So, he had a preseason. It still took him a year. So, I'm going to apply the same logic to any other manager. They just need as much time as possible.
I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think about the new sack statement colors, man? I like the new logo with blue at the background. I'm a big fan of it. Instead of the flag, you remember he used to have the flag, like Chelsea's statement.
Oh my god!
Pull it up, Marshall.
I didn't notice.
Go to
Wait 1
Chelsea.
second.
Yeah, it's nice,
One
man.
second.
Look how nice they did it, man. Like a Chelsea
Cody
logo, blue
Rhodes.
at the background, instead of that stupid ass ugly flag they used to have, man. Yeah, look at that. It's beautiful, man. Look at that. Club statement, period. That's it, bro. And the funniest thing is they didn't have a lot to positive to write about them. They just made the font bigger.
Dude, the only thing they had was this part right here.
And like I said in the beginning, they tried
What do you
to
want to say, bro? What do you want to
That's his
say?
highest
Only won 7
achievement.
games this season, bro.
and like I said in the beginning, that in the first line they try and word it as if they always planned for it to be like this short-term transition thing. Like, no. You're just rewriting
I
history
wish
here.
they actually said Graham Potter gave it his all for Chelsea, like he did his best.
He
and all
he
that,
gave
like,
everything. He gave everything.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing this proved
The
to
lad
me is
gave
that
everything.
the media doesn't know fuck all about Chelsea, bro. All of them,
Yeah, Ben
yesterday and
Jacobs.
today, they said,
Yeah.
"Oh, they don't even get me started about Ben Jacob, bro."
I mean, like I said on Ben Jacobs, he only really got his name off the ownership thing with the Rain Group, so he's not really a transfer aficionado.
But look at that beautiful. I appreciate the new logo, man. It would look nice, like the blue background, man. Same old new background, same old Chelsea. But sack that motherfucker,
Well,
bro.
let's hope the new manager's good and we don't have to see that logo.
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know, man.
I
I like
mean-
the logo, bro.
Kai, if you want to read Potter's dismissal thing over and over again, then every day, then that's up to you, man. Actually, that sounds pretty nice. Actually, that sounds like a pretty therapeutic
Look
thing.
at it, man. It's so relaxing, bro.
Right
When
now
Chris,
it does.
you know who told me about it? Like how they found out. Chris wrote me. I thought Chris is bullshitting me, bro. And I go and I see this Chelsea comment, so beautiful and blue, bro. Oh my days, man. Gave me blue balls,
Yeah,
man.
Chris,
I'm so
you're
happy,
actually
bro.
the guy that informed me because I was away. I was not at my computer. I
I
was
said he's
practicing.
finally gone or something.
You
free.
said
We're
we're
free.
finally free, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man?" And I go on my Discord and I see, oh shit, he's actually been sacked. That's crazy.
I was
And
too
at
happy.
first they said that Graham Potter
Ooh,
has departed
Fabrizio,
Chelsea.
Fabrizio reporting as well now.
That was like,
Marshall, Marshall, I
Enrique is a
saw
tenant,
it. It was
yeah.
posted in the Discord. I thought it was like a Pies parody account because you know those things are out there. So
yeah.
I thought it was fake news.
I
Right,
had
Fabrizio just
someone come in
reported.
and tell me, and I didn't believe it.
Man, I tell you what, the adrenaline rush when I saw that, it was actually real. Man, that hit different.
So, boys, Fabrizio just reported right now. Chelsea approached Nagelsmann as top candidate. No compensation talks with Bayern yet. Internal discussions will continue to make best decisions. And Ruben Amorim, who is the Sporting, right?
Yeah, Sporting
Manager at the moment, also appreciated no talks with Pochettino as of now. Actually, Kai, I haven't heard you talk about Amorim at all. What do you think about him?
I don't know, man. I feel like Alexis likes him because he looks exactly like Alexis, bro. I don't know, man. I don't trust a black haired dude with a beard and a turtleneck, bro. Gives me bad vibes, man. It gives me like
Actually-
1980s, like fucking.
Actually-
I
bro.
don't know enough about him. Oh my god.
the only thing with Amorim is this fan base won't like
This is
this
gonna be
fan base won't like Amorim
Alexis
because
one.
he
His pictures
Yeah.
in his profile, Marshall.
No, just go to his profile picture and click it, bro.
Like, where you going,
no.
Marshall?
He posted a picture of Ruben Amorim today.
Yeah, he likes him. He likes him, but he looks exactly like him. That's why he likes him, bro.
Does he tweet a lot? I forgot.
Apparently he does. Golly, man, this is only this morning. Alexis, what are we doing, man?
Yeah, Alexis.
Jesus.
in a busy day.
Okay, you know what? Oh, there we go. Oh,
Yeah.
I kind of see it now.
Bro, look at him, bro.
I
He looks like,
kinda
he looks
see
like he plays Football Manager with a sweater on, bro. Look, see exactly.
Yeah.
same. That's why
They
I
do
love
look
Alex.
pretty
Alexis. Yeah, the beauty about that. I love Alexis, but it's true, bro. Look at it.
Oh my days.
I would rather get
I
Enrique
mean-
or Nagelsmann. That's my two options.
Yeah,
I
those
want
are my
sexy
two
football.
choices.
I mean, it's nice that he plays for Porto, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah, there's
Or
one.
lives
know
or
much
whatever
about
the
him.
fuck the green Portuguese, bro. That's what I'm gonna call him.
Sporting.
I would take an Angelotti as well if we could, but I know we probably won't get
If
him.
we could.
Well,
Like
the
he's
thing
one
with-
man I'd look at as well, but yeah.
Bro, how can Ancelotti do a long-term project and he himself is not long-term anymore? bro?
he's not a long term. Ancelotti's
I
like a
know,
2-year.
but
He's
But
not a
he might
long-term
bring his
human right
trophies,
now.
man.
Let him
I miss
retire, bro.
trophies.
Oh my god.
Let him retire. His hair
Marshall.
turned white, bro. The cigars are
miss
gonna kill him
trophies,
before he
bro.
joins us, bro.
I miss
The thing with
competition.
The thing with Ancelotti as well is that like he seems pretty committed to Real Madrid. Like I know he's got his contract coming up
Isn't he
soon,
leaving
but
the season?
he said multiple times in interviews that if Real Madrid want to keep him, then he's happy to stay. And
Yeah,
he's also
yeah.
he's also publicly like announced or he's declared that the Brazil national team that they want him. So he's got suitors, be it staying at Real Madrid or going to this national job.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we'll see with Potter. I mean, with Ancelotti, because he's definitely my first choice. But of realistic choices, realistic
Yeah, he's not
options,
realistic.
it's Enrique, then Nagelsmann, and then I don't know. I don't know who the third one would be. Maybe
No,
Amorim. I don't know.
No
I
Poch
mean,
was-
the thing I was going to say
Actually,
about
wouldn't take
The
Poch, but
second coming of
He's
Lampard.
not too bad, Poch, but I don't know if he's the right man.
no,
I
he's
just
not
don't know
sick
about
coming of
Poch.
Lampard. What do you say? Oh my god.
Bro, I just
Second
don't want
coming
this.
of Lampard.
I don't want this a guy who looks like he's from God of War, bro, to be our manager until the end of the season, bro. Get us an interim manager as soon as possible, man. I don't want this guy, the bald guy, man. What's his name? Bruno.
Oh,
or
Bruno?
Wait, he
Mario.
might be a Pep like under
A
disguise.
bald manager is rock, man. Come on.
I really doubt if he's
Yeah.
Pep under the sky. If he's make tea for fucking Potter,
Well,
bro.
maybe they didn't realize how good he was, and then he actually comes in and whoops.
Yeah, that's what they said about Potter,
He
bro.
beats Liverpool
Nobody
3-0.
knows how good he's gonna
Watch
be,
him
man.
beat Liverpool on Tuesday 3-0. Watch it happen.
Actually, wait. I take that back. Bald managers except Nuno, they're all good.
True.
Nuno-
Wait. What do you mean all bald managers except Nuno, bro? We only know
Nuno-
three, bro.
Nuno.
Ten Hag, Pep. Who else do we know as bald, man?
Nuno.
That is such a fucking small ass sample size, bro. And you add
True.
Nuno, and that's half of the bald people, bro.
Zidane.
That's how small it is.
Zidane.
Oh,
No, Zidane,
I
yeah,
actually,
true, Zidane.
you know what, Zidane? I don't know if Zidane is a good coach though.
Nah, I understand that. I don't really comment on him.
I
Boys.
rate him. Go on.
I I do have to head out.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of talked about this as much as we can. For now, we'll see what news pops up by Wednesday. Tuesday, we have the game against Liverpool. Maybe we'll have a new manager by then. Maybe it'll still be Bruno. Or maybe it'll just be the team managing itself. And then Wednesday, I didn't plan on it, but I think Wednesday we're going to do a call-in show. And we're going to see what you guys have to say in the audience. So if you wanted to call in and talk about the sacking, Wednesday is going to be the day for that, I think. There's going to be a lot of content coming up in this month. So by all means, hit that bell notification so you don't miss out when we're going to be doing a stream. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here. Make sure you're also checking out the links in the description. And smashing that like button, by the way, guys. Let's try to get 50 likes before we raid out. We're going to go ahead and raid Lewis, who's still streaming right now. That guy's putting in some fucking hours. He's going in.
He's streaming all day, man.
Maybe. Yeah, he's gonna milk the fuck out of this. So
and Lewis has got to watch WrestleMania later as well.
True, yeah, and that's also he's streaming all hours tonight. So make sure to copy and paste that raid message over to him, spam it over to his chat. And yeah, guys, make sure to check out our memberships. We have 4 different tiers. You can spam on the emojis and all that fun stuff. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much for coming. We finally sacked Graham Potter. It's done. It's over. The nightmare has ended. We can finally wake up and breathe again. Our Chelsea might be coming back sooner than we thought. So guys, have a wonderful night. I'll catch you later. Stay casual. Peace.